Typically, Dina, nambabato ng problema. We're still okay? Allow me to frame the problem that Dina tossed to me within the broader developments taking place in higher education. By higher ed, I really refer to formal post-secondary schooling in universities, colleges, and vocational institutes. And in keeping with the optimistic title of our panel, I prefer not to focus too much on the current state of higher education in our country. Rather, I want to begin my reflection by gazing at the global landscape and considering what that might augur for us in the coming decades. And then from there, and drawing from what we know about our situation, then I will attempt to build a scaffold, just a frame, for Philippine higher education reform. Of course, I don't propose to cover every aspect. Okay, so the most visible development in the field of higher education is the process of internationalization. From the term international education of the 80s, the buzzword of the 21st century has become transnational education, borderless education, cross-border. Of course, they sound funny. How can something borderless be cross-border? But those are the terms. Manifestations of internationalization are manifold and diverse, ranging from simple study abroad programs to what they call in Japan and Thailand, international, meaning English medium programs, to university partnerships like twinning programs, research collaboration, to the franchising of courses, online delivery partnerships, the establishment of off- and onshore courses, overseas branch campuses, and of late, foreign-backed and foreign-owned universities. If these phrases conjure the image of a business enterprise, note the words franchising, offshore branch, delivery partnership, it would be because higher education in today's world has become a huge service industry. The General Agreement on Trade in Services, the GATS, counts education among 12 services alongside tourism, banking, engineering, consultancy, accounting, and so on. If you look at the slide, you will see how the modes of commercialization of the GATS are applied to education. And I just give you a few samples there. So who are the cross-border suppliers? Well, of course, that would be us. We're one, HEIs, higher ed institutions. The second would be non-recognized HEIs. These are often private, for-profit institutions that provide programs which aren't recognized by a national evaluation agency, either in their home or in a foreign host country. The third category consists of private companies. Some of them are private, others are publicly traded. And these are big time. The largest now, you have Apollo Group, which owns the largest private American university, that's the University of Phoenix. You have Laureate Incorporated. I understand Laureate is trying to make a bid for one of the institutions here that is in dire financial straits. And you also have the Washington Post-owned Kaplan colleges. I mean, there are so many more. These profit-inclined firms do not belong to the national education system, and they may or may not be accredited. The fourth consists of corporate higher education institutions like Toyota, Motorola, or the Times School of Marketing, or the Kirloskar Institute of Advanced Management in India. These firms train their staff, and at times, in collaboration with traditional HEIs, they offer different kinds of programs, but operate outside the national education system. Now, more formal partnerships among public or private companies and institutions, which are called networks, or affiliations, comprise the fifth category, and usually it's the desire for profit that brings them together. The last category of providers is the virtual HEI, and I think we're familiar with that. OpenU is an example of that. Okay, so why internationalize education? Well, first of all, student and faculty mobility and research collaboration are not developments of the 21st century. I mean, neither are university linkages. But the differences today are the escalation and the expanse of these movements and the emergence of new modalities, many of them market-driven, nearly all of them aided by new technologies. So if you combine these factors, they can multiply the opportunities for learning and research. In this sense, I can see why internationalization attracts universities. It exposes faculty and students to new learning environments and cultures. Research collaboration with foreign colleagues, especially in areas of global concern like health, climate, also helps the world at large. And yes, bringing in foreign students adds to the university's declining budget. The results of the 2005 International Association of Universities Global Survey on the Internationalization of Higher Ed show a consensus among the 526 respondent HEIs, they came from 95 countries, that there are benefits to be reaped from internationalization, the foremost being a broader international outlook for faculty and students and enhanced academic quality. And you will see on the slide, the least benefits are national and international citizenship, revenue generation, and brain gain. There are nuances to this consensus, however. National and international citizenship, which is generally rated low in importance, is perceived as a significant benefit by HEIs in the US and in Canada. While in Africa, Latin America, the Middle East, and Asia Pacific, greater knowledge and research and academic quality rank at the top. Jane Knight explains developing countries probably place heavier emphasis on these benefits because the core requisites of a university need to be solidly addressed before enjoying the benefit of an internationally oriented faculty and student population. Yet, even as 96% of the HEIs regard internationalization as beneficial, 70% see the risks involved, as you can see from these graphs. Now, overall, the top three risks are the commodification of education programs, the increase in the number of foreign diploma mills and incompetent providers, and brain drain. While the least important risks are the loss of national or cultural identity, threat to the quality of education, uniformity of the curriculum. Now, here again, there are regional nuances. While fewer than 60% of HEIs in North America express concern over these risks, for example, 81% of the African universities do. The disparity suggests a higher degree of vulnerability in the South than in the North. The threat to cultural identity, a low risk overall, is the top risk identified by HEIs in the Middle East. On the other hand, the commodification of education, identified as the most important risk overall, rates lower in importance than brain drain, elitism, and loss of cultural identity in Latin America. Knight says this could probably be related to the long-standing tradition of private education in Latin America and the fairly low extent of for-profit education in that region. Now, internationalization has opened the door to many nations. Japan, for example, has launched an ambitious program called Global 30 Project for establishing core universities for internationalization to raise its international student population and the number of Japanese students studying abroad. The project supports 13 universities that have been selected as global centers. Each of them will receive from 200 to 400 million yen a year. And each one, over a 5-year period, and each one is expected to recruit thousands of international students. Because Japan's goal by 2020 is to have an intake of 300,000 international students. Malaysia and Singapore have also set targets, you will see in the slides, and I think they will meet them. Malaysia and Singapore will, because their number of international students last year was pretty close to this target already. Now, China is just about the hottest country in the global market. A good number of Chinese universities are in need of foreign revenue, and foreign providers have the added cosmopolitan attraction. On their part, foreign providers are mesmerized by the gigantic population of potential consumers, some of whom they want to recruit to study abroad or pirate away to American laboratories. Why are we still in 2005, Roel? Sorry, he didn't sleep last night because the panel and I were cramming, so poor guy, you have to forgive him. Papakainin natin yan mamaya din. Roel, okay? You didn't see all you want to just flash them quickly? Yeah? Because I didn't bother to read the slides.